Super user. It may be a term you've never heard of, but it's causing big problems for Charleston County first responders. Super users are people who call 911 more often than they should, and they're not only draining emergency response resources, they are also taking tax dollars that could be spent elsewhere. Live 5 Investigates Justin Kollar explains how our frontline heroes are cracking down on users who are anything but super.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
The typical person probably doesn't call 911 every year.
An officer will be dispatched as soon as possible. Call us back if anything changes or if you have any further information.
The typical person might call 911 once in a lifetime.
Charleston County Consolidated Dispatch Center Director Jim Lake describes a super user as a person who calls 911 much more often than that.
There are some of those that are super users. There are some that we know by name.
Why is that something that should not be recommended for folks to call 911 so frequently? Why is that a bad thing?
So it ties up valuable resources, and no matter what technology I provide, and we're still looking at the best.
Director Lake took us through the dispatch center to see some of that technology for ourselves.
We don't know what that call is until we answer it. We provide a lot of technology to our staff to ensure that they have the best tools to make those decisions in that process.
But sometimes technology is actually part of the problem. According to details from our Freedom of Information Act request, one pool phone here at Wild Dunes Resort called 911 659 times last year alone.
659 times for that one phone number is just, way too much.
911 dispatch takes every call seriously, especially since these calls came from an automated poolside phone. Isla Palms Police Sergeant Matt Storin says they were responded to every single time as a real emergency.
Somebody might have been drowning, they're doing CPR, but they know if they dial 911, somebody's going to get dispatched to that location. So we don't know what's going on the other line. It could be a 911 open line or a habitual 911 hang-up.
But responding to this same call 659 times was too much. And at an average cost of $14.33, according to county officials, the 659 calls from Wild Dunes Resort cost Charleston County taxpayers $9,443.47. And that's just to pick up the phone at the dispatch center. When factoring in the emergency response, that amount is much more.
Because it got so out of control and resources were being wasted so much on that one line.
Our Freedom of Information Act request shows super users called 911 in Charleston County 26,249 times last year alone. That all cost the county nearly $400,000. And yes, there are laws in place to prevent this sort of 911 negligence from happening.
There is a charge for misuse of 911, and that is a blatant violation. It would not apply in this situation, but somebody who is purposely and has the intent to misuse the 911 system absolutely can be charged.
Is that strict enough to get people to stop abusing the service, do you think?
I think it could be stricter. But we use it very seldom because we don't want to have people not call us. We don't want them to be afraid to pick up the phone and dial that number.
If it's not some sort of technological error like at Wild Dunes Resort, Lake says most super users are substance abusers.
And that's the reason they're calling, because they have no one else to call. Nobody else will answer their phone. So they call us. But again, it's not only time-consuming, but it's stressful for the people that are taking the calls upstairs.
People like Maria Chiano, who has a superpower. She knows several users by sound alone.
Just kind of reminding them that, hey, we've talked before. How are you doing? I can think of a couple of callers off the top of my head that I know them from their voice as soon as they're saying hello.
Chiano does her best to get these people the help they need. Dispatching firefighter John Baker is a start.
Everyone is deserving of 911 care and getting the best care possible. Getting involved with social workers within the hospital is another big aspect of getting the people the proper help that they need. We've done that in the past where we've gone to calls where something just doesn't seem right or the at-home care that they have is not sufficient. And we get other people involved and we go through our chain of command, regardless of jurisdiction that we work in, making sure that the proper avenues are taken to really take care of these people who, in their mind, are doing the right thing, but maybe not doing the right thing when it comes to knowing the taxation that they're putting on the system.
What's the solution?
If you think of one, let me know. I hope you don't use that. But the bottom line is public education and understanding is the best solution we have.
Now, Director Jim Lake says the only time you should ever call 911 is to save a life, stop a crime, or report a fire. That's it.
Wow. Now, Justin asked for the Wild Dunes Resort situation and their pool phone that called 911, was it 659 times?
Believe, right?
What have they done to kind of prevent that from happening again?
So the police out of Isle of Palms and the county as well, they work together with the local HOA there too to devise a plan on how to stop this. And in their case, it was an electrical issue with that emergency button that calls 911 directly. So obviously you can see it's a plan to reduce that huge draw on resources. And we've been told that now, since this has come to light, that problem has been addressed.
Well, that's a good thing. Thank you very much.